but I'm struggling with getting them out of the fear of diamond, even though I've like shown them it's still just me. And then I built my husband. And so I'm struggling to show them that it's totally doable, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And I just started recording, so I'm just going to reiterate that we're talking about building diamonds just because I just started the recording. So you have problems getting your people on Zoom calls. And when you say you're visual, what do you do to help them visualize that? Like, are you using the like little person and then the little dots?
Yeah, the graphics. And then I've just gone to Pinterest a lot for a lot of that. And then just kind of made my own. And then I just recently, I don't know if it was on this page or in one of your other like regional pages, but someone shared how they did that with their coaches with like check marks. So in my business builders team page, I made every single coach that's in there that says they want to work the business, an album of their like tracking to it. So that's just something that I've done, but I have a couple coaches that are just struggling to reach Success Club with challengers. So it's hard. I'm having a hard time getting them to believe in themselves of if I'm struggling to get customers, how am I going to get coaches? And so I'm trying to push them past that into that belief.
I see a lot of nodding heads, thoughts, stuff that.
Can I just get a quick hands? I know last week we had way more people on this call and we typically do, so I don't know where everyone is, but there are a lot of us who have our points but struggle with diamonds, and then there are some of us who have diamonds but struggle with points. Is anyone on this call have the diamonds? Okay, maybe you can tell us all your tricks then, because I have like well over 120 points. I just don't have diamonds. But one thing that our team has been doing is we do like every other month or once a quarter, we'll do an emerald push group that leads up into a diamond push group. And so talking about visuals, I can screen share really quick. We do something called win the push. And so our emerald push group is 4 days. It's Sunday to Wednesday, technically. And then this is their win the push. So visually, they're checking these things. They're doing the daily activities. But like Lauren said, I struggle with like Emerald, you can sign up your sister and your husband. Great. They see the value in that and they do that right away. But a lot of my builders, honestly, and I was saying this at the end of the call last week, and I can share that if anyone wants to remake it for their team. I was saying, whoa, why am I echoing? Page maybe. I was saying at the end of the call last week, and now I've completely lost my train of thought. Oh, a lot of my builders that are actually like hitting Success Club and doing well started as a challenger and a coach at the same time, which in the past I thought my best coaches came from my challenge groups. But the more that I build my business and can like talk about my success on Instagram, I'm pulling in more people as coaches, which is great, and they're hitting the ground running. But because they're a brand new coach, they have a fear for inviting to coaching. They can sell challenge packs all day, but they're like, I just signed up last month. Why is anyone going to want to be a coach? So there's a disconnect there. And I can pop emeralds all day long, but it's just getting those diamonds. And honestly, I just popped a diamond. We were in 2-star qualification. Like I said, we dropped because my diamond lived in Wilmington, North Carolina, where the hurricane hit. So most of her downline did too. So we're trying to rebuild and get back into qualification here soon. And I have a couple more that are about to go into our Dash to Diamond group. But my big thing is people who are in the position to be hitting diamond, they don't need more training. They need accountability of the vital behaviors. And I see a lot of heads shaking with that. Like, they don't need more training. There's so much training out there. All of us have systems we plug them into when they get started. And I think there's a disconnect there too, because people think we're doing something outside of the vital behaviors. And yeah, we might have tweaks on things, but honest to goodness, it's what's your personal development. Are you losing weight? Are you seeing results? Are you sharing your results? You know, like literally those vital behaviors are it. So I would love to hear the people who already have their diamonds, what they've done, what you've done this year. Because we could talk all day about what we're struggling with, but like, let's hear from the people who have done it.
Well, I can share. When I was pushing for, I hit 3-star qualifying in May. I locked in 2-star. And both both of my 2 stars are not my husband's account. So they're actually working coaches. And what I did with both of them is I worked down in my deep line. So I wasn't just like working with them, and I would set up like a chat thread with them, all of their, PS coaches, and then they're like those coaches. So we had a chat group that was going, and I would take responsibility for not just coaching and mentoring my coach, but their coaches. And what I found, because what I find is, so I'm a 2-star coach, right? But like I still don't have really any leaders. Like my diamonds are there and they're strong and they're consistent, but they're not like us. Like they don't like take the lead and lead. And so I feel like even a lot of their fears of getting to diamond is like them comparing them to us and like, okay, we do what we're doing. I don't think I could do what you're doing yet. Like my coaches always say, I can't train my people. I don't have the time, or I don't know what to do yet. And that's where I've kind of always taken this belief, because this is how my upline has taught us, is that it's not your responsibility necessarily to train your people yet, right? Like use your resources, use me. I'm here full time. I'm fully capable as long as you guys are doing the work and putting in the effort. I'm here to help your people. So I proactively like reach out to like my downline, and I message them and I ask them how they're doing. And I, we have, if we have a new coach training, I don't just let my coaches do the work. There's pros and cons to it, right? The cons is that you're going to work actively. You're going to build relationships. You're going to help keep that momentum going. The cons that I've noticed over time is that it does hinder my coach's ability to, I'm a little bit hand-holding them, right? So there is a con to that. So me personally going forward is going to be finding a balance between doing that. But to pop your diamonds, for me, my people, I always teach my people to sign people up as discount coaches. So I know a lot of other people don't do that. And I feel like that's a disconnect for a lot of people, like the fear of getting to diamond. Well, if you're just signing up challengers and you're signing them up as discount coaches, eventually you're going to have enough coaches, right? It's then getting those coaches to be emeralds, and getting those emeralds to reach diamond is normally where the struggle is. So if one of those people is your husband, then you really have it easy. So really, like, you need to find one working coach or one coach that is going to be able to use referrals, give you referrals. So something else that this is not how I got to diamond, but something that I've been recently doing too is whenever I'm inviting or having my coaches invite people to their challengers to the journey, is asking if they have any friends or family that wants to do it with them, and then having those people sign up under them to like kind of build these little emeralds. And we've been starting to do that. It's not what I did to pop the emeralds, but really it's just, I just actively stayed engaged in those threads with my coaches. I think everything that you guys said is really about accountability. And it's also, though, like the mistakes that I made in the past when I was like trying to push for goals versus what I did differently when we hit it, is that I also stopped downplaying what I wanted from my business and for us as a team, and like clearly saying like, this is what I want us to achieve, and changing my mindset from what I wanted from what we wanted, because when we can achieve it as a team, they're obviously also reaching their goals and benefiting. And I said it like loud and clear, and we got on a call and I said, I want us to reach this goal. If you want to do this with me, if we want to work together, then this is what we need to do. And in the past, like I kind of was pushing for goals, but I didn't tell them that I was pushing for goals. And that it was a mistake in the past that obviously I didn't reach it then.
So I thank you so much for sharing, by the way. That's amazing. And I love that you're talking about going into your deeper downline. Because I know a lot of coaches do that. They're like, okay, well, you have these couple people and you're this many people away from diamond and you need these emeralds. And, you know, so if you can go 2 or 3 down, that's great. You know, I mean, that's a really starting that team mentality and talking about your coaches being worried to train someone else. I've met with a business mentor not too long ago, and she was encouraging me to do something. I'm like, but I don't know how. And she's like, so? Like, it doesn't matter. You just start. You just go. It's like that meme that's like, you jump and you build your wings on the way down, right? So it's something that if you're new and you don't know what you're doing, it's going to add that much more, that much more like bonding. It's going to help you bond with your team a little bit more because you're learning together, right? So anybody else have anything similar that they do or thoughts?
I don't have anything similar, but I have a question. So how are you guys starting off conversations? I'm struggling with starting off conversations with people that I think would be business builders, because a lot of I've got it down. Like, I can sign a discount coach like nobody's business. Like, I've got that down, but I struggle with starting the conversation and inviting a business builder. And I struggle with it, I think, because my own personal journey, I started off as a discount coach. And so I just don't have that mindset confidence yet to like be like, hey, you need to start this as the business because you would be amazing. Because I don't have that, I can't give my personal. So Brittany.
I have just been sharing a ton of business building activities in my Instagram stories. Like, if my son's sleeping, I'm like just caught up on emails and DMs, sent questions to girls interested in my virtual gym, like just literally like a checklist of what I did during my power hour. And then it starts to make people realize that we don't work 24/7, you know, like this is doable. And I learned that from Rachel Baldwin, just like sharing more business building activities in like the background so that you're attracting those business building coaches. Because we can talk about it being hard work, but then we like post about all this like the fun stuff, you know, so it's good to show those business building activities. And then I love to use polls. I struggle with like those hard invites. So I'll use a poll. Like I'll like drip coaching all day in my Instagram stories. And then I'll be like, could you ever see yourself doing what I do? Heck yes, or yes, you know, like 2 positive answers. And I might only get 5 polls, where if I like ask someone if they prefer Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, I get 400, you know, but that's 5 people that are inviting me to invite them to coaching. So that's something that's been working for me.
I like that. Thank you.
Lauren, are you talking also about like your current challengers or just new people?
Just new people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel confident with my challengers because a lot of them already are discount coaches essentially, but they're a little bit more slow to start. Like, they're still like working on themselves, which is great. But so I have a couple that are still like being pulled in, but I'm talking about like the ones who flat out day one, let's work this business and take care of myself from my social media.
I think I have something to share. So honestly, just what I've noticed that helps me is that don't go into the conversation trying to build it and build it and build it, because you'll never end up inviting them. If you know that you want to invite them, cool that you have talked to them before, but go into the conversation knowing what you're going to say. Like, hi, dude, I was thinking about you because I see that you, whatever, you're a mom or you work out or whatever, and I think you would be amazing at this. Would you ever like consider it? And that's it. Like, after that, if you continue chatting, that's awesome. But what I found is that when I didn't have the confidence to share that right off the bat, I would just like, the conversation would carry on forever. And then it felt awkward to be like, oh, and by the way, you know that I was thinking about you. You know, that sounds really weird, because it's like you started talking to them with the intention of selling them something or like getting them into the business. So I feel like that makes people feel weird. So if you just like make a list, go through them and make it sincere, but don't try to like make small talk. I feel like that really works.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I don't know, I've pretty much built my whole business on Facebook. So I'm now going to Instagram, and I've always been a cold invite person my whole entire business. I cold invited everybody. It worked for me for the first 3 years, 2 years. The last year kind of like it stopped working as well. So I never really had an issue just like inviting and asking someone whether they wanted to be in the groups or challengers. But I feel like with Instagram, it's like even like more of the venue to like do that. If people are watching your stories, if they are like stalking your stories day in and day out and you're sharing about the business, just like send them a message, you know, like if it's someone that you've never had one conversation with ever, and you really like in your business, you really teach building relationships, then that's fine. Give them a couple touch points, but then there's just a point where you just have to invite them, right? One of the girls, I know that Haley Christensen, she did a video about that, and she always says like, don't be a bitch, hit send. And I always remind myself that too, because really like if you're just like, if you get fear in your stomach before you're going to invite them, then it's just fear, right? Like someone's stalking your story and you want to share the opportunity, then you just need to do it. And I know like I really struggled for the first 2 years with inviting to coaching too.
I was just going to say, I struggle with cold invites too. And I think the reason that you've started to struggle with them or seen a change in your business is because so many other people are doing network marketing so terribly wrong that people have their guard up when they get that message. But like, do you say her name? Leia. Like she was saying, like, if you see that they're stalking you, basically, I'll straight up say, hey girl, I see you watching my stories day in and day out. Have you ever thought about doing what I do? Or when are you going to join my virtual gym? Because if you can straight up see, they're not a quiet follower if you can see them. Like there is an avenue there to break that silence. Even if they never engage with you, even if they never like your stuff, even if they never reply to your stories, you can see who watches them. So if you see someone consistently, call them out. Like do the eye emoji and be like, hey girl, I see you. Like, when are you going to join us? Because you have that going for you. They already know, there's already a connection touch point because they know your whole life that you're sharing, you know? So you just have to get to know them, but that can happen after the fact when they're in your challenge group.
That's so true. Thank you, Brittany. And Whitney, welcome. We're talking about building diamonds. Stay safe while you're driving. But yes, that's such a good point, because you know these people are watching you, and just taking that jump and just saying, hey, have you ever thought about doing what I do? What's the worst that can happen? Have you guys ever died when someone said no? No. Okay. What else, guys? Building diamonds, building leaders. What makes it so hard to build a diamond rather than an emerald? That's a question that I want answered, because I know I've looked at a lot of your organizations, and I see that you guys build emeralds like that, right? Like not a problem. So how is it different to build a diamond?
I think for me and with the girls on my team, I think somebody said, I can't remember who said it. Was it Lauren maybe? That they don't have that like belief that they can do it. Which I have so many girls who are like literally like 2 half emeralds away from diamond, or they have like the amount of coaches and all they need to do is get like their husband to emerald and somebody else to emerald. And they're like, I'm so far away. I don't think I can do it. And I'm like, I don't get it. So I think I think a big part of it is just, I think it might be a scary thing. Like a lot of people see diamond as the goal, like the end goal, when we all know it's just a milestone, right? So I think it has like all this pressure built up to it for some reason. Like, and we don't talk about emerald like this huge pressure thing, right? Like we make emerald fun, like emerald simple. You just sign up 2 people. And I think a lot of people see diamond as like this big, like Mount Everest of a goal. But then I also think that is really bad, because then once they hit diamond, they feel like that's it, right? Like they don't keep doing all the things to get there, that they did to get there to keep growing. So I think that's also, because I've had diamonds fall, or diamonds that are like right there, and then they just completely like self-sabotage and then lose how close they were. So I think, at least for the girls on my team, it's just that realization that, like, I think the responsibility they're afraid of, like, they're afraid of the responsibility they're going to have when they get there, and just really building up that belief that they can do it. And it's not as scary as it sounds, you know?
That's an excellent point, actually, because I think when I talk to all of you, I'm like, okay, like, they have no idea what's hard and what's easy. So how can we combat that? How can we come back and say, hey, diamond is where this all starts? Because I know that every day you can tell people this. That was so weird. Whose dog was that? Leia, was that your dog? I was like, everybody's muted.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, you're good. We talk to people every day, and it's like, hey, diamond is where it starts. And I know I've told you guys before, like, make sure they know that it's really not worth being in certain spots if you're not diamond. Like, why would you demote yourself? Why would you allow yourself to stay at the very lowest pay rank? Leia, were you going to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say that at the beginning of this year, before I hit like my 2-star, like in the beginning, I changed to my whole training system, because when I was a coach, like, Emerald was like this huge deal, and then Diamond was like this massive deal. No one talked about 2-star. No one talked about like 2-star second business center. Like, I didn't know any of that just as a coach. I learned it because I wanted to grow the business. But like, so when I do my trainings now, like, I downplay Emerald. And I kind of just say, like, that's the first step. That's what you need to do. When you get to Emerald, that's like when you're taking your business seriously. It's super easy. You sign up 2 people. And then we talk about Emerald as your next big goal. And then we talk about 2-star and why 2-star, because then you get your second business center and then you get bonuses. I changed that because I never talked about that in the past with training, so that they can see the big picture on why it's like, why you want to get to diamond, obviously to maximize your cycle bonus and get your, your matching on your coaches, but then why you want to get to 2-star and why that can really explode your volume. So I'm starting to like instill that in the training early on for my coaches.
Perfect.
I'm driving. Is that okay?
Absolutely, Whitney. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm driving to preschool. I think too, and maybe you guys can help talk this out. I have girls that want to hit diamond, and then they start working and adding more coaches, and they're like, whoa, this takes too much time. I thought I could do this, in my 1 hour a day. And the reality is when you're trying to hit diamond and hit beyond, it does take more time. So I feel like you're asking, like, why are people afraid of diamond? And for me and my newer coaches, or my coaches who are Emerald, they're like, they don't want to put in the time. That's it. Look at Larissa laughing at me. That's my success partner.
So you have people, just to clarify, you have people that want to build the business in a short amount of time, but really that isn't.
Yeah, it's like they want to hit diamond, and then they start whining that it takes time to do it.
Right.
I worked my butt off this week, and this happened yesterday. One girl said, I worked my butt off this week, and I still didn't sign anyone. And I'm like, great, okay, so tell me what you did. And when she shared with me, I was like, girl, that's not working your butt off. And I had to I said that to her, and she was like, okay. And I'm like, you built relationships, so you didn't ask anybody about the business. And I'm like, so your mindset of what working your butt off is looking differently. So I have a lot of girls that are moms, so like, I don't want to lose my time with my kids and stuff. So we're having to talk a lot about balance, and all of that's good. But I feel like you had asked, like, why are people afraid of diamond? And for my coaches, I have to get them beyond the fact that they do have to hustle for it. Unlike Emerald can come a little bit easier.
Okay.
Does that clarify?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else? Any thoughts on that? Really, guys?
So one thing I've done, sorry, I'm driving. One thing that I've been doing recently that I'm having a lot of success with is just getting coaches. I mean, I know a lot of us do this, but getting them thinking like it's just like hitting Emerald a couple of times. And what I told my coach is like, just sign up discount coaches. Like if you have people who, because in the long run, I don't think that if you're 4-star diamond or something, you may not want to keep signing up discount coaches because it keeps you from getting like as much volume, I guess. And that commission, I guess the same in volume, but commission. But for new coaches, it's like, just get yourself to diamond, even if it's just with a bunch of discount coaches. Like, and one of my coaches, she literally signed up like 2 months ago, and she has almost to diamond. And it's a lot of discount coaches, but it's building that like confidence in herself, and the fact that she's almost to diamond, and it's getting her really excited, even though she doesn't have a ton of business builders yet. It's, she can talk more confidently, like she feels like she's more of a leader. So when she's starting to really start to attract those business builders, because she has more coaches on her team, and she sees that like diamond is so close for her. So I don't know, like I think in the beginning, it's like that could be a big difference too, is like, hey, just sign up discount coaches. Like, try to get every single one of your challengers to sign up as a coach so that they hopefully stay on Shakeology and get that discount, but then also helps them kind of build that momentum. So that's what's been working for me.
And that's a perfect opportunity right there with Caroline's situation, where people are really close to hitting diamond. That's when you can go down a layer, right? Just like Leah was saying. So that's when you're going to your coaches and like, hey, you're really close to emerald. This is what you need, because sometimes they don't realize it, because we do have such new coaches that we have to go down and like, hey, I talked to your girl and I didn't know if you realized, but like, I'm trying to help out because I want to see you at diamond, and I want to see you start your business, because diamond is where you kind of show the world that you're serious about this, right? Emerald's just like really a hobby coach. You can blink and like, oh, whoops, what is this emerald thing? It just kind of happened by accident. Is there anybody here that has tried the diamond internships or the diamond mentorships that has had success? Or do you know what it is even? No?
Are you talking about, I guess explain it. So I may do something like that. I just want to know.
Okay, so I know that some of the coaches this year are implementing it, and I think Emily Favre does it, but I'm not sure. Somebody does it. So that you have an application process, and you put it out there. Hey, who wants to get to diamond? Because I want we're going to be an elite team. We need 5-star diamond. Blah blah blah. So they have an application process, and Caroline's nodding her head. So you probably do something very similar. And then you pick 1 or 2 that you're going to mentor. Is actually Jamie Ennis that did this. You pick 1 or 2 to mentor for 30 days. And you're spending a lot of time with them. And this does a couple of things. One, it helps that coach that applied, right? So you know that they're committed. You know what they want to do because you have their application. You can see their words. And then if they start to slack, you can use their own words to remind them, this is what you said you wanted. So if you don't, then we need to part ways, because there's someone else that said the same thing and they deserve my time because they're going to work. So that's a way to kind of like protect your time and protect what you're trying to do. So you work with them for 30 days, and that it also shows the rest of your team that if you're willing to work, if you're willing to say, hey, I'm committed to getting diamond, you're saying I'm focused on this person. So my time with the rest of the team is going to be more limited. So if you need me, you can only reach me during, team calls or whatever, or, I may take longer to get messages. So it will show that I'm not necessarily that they're more important than everybody else, but yeah, they kind of are, because a diamond is going to produce more for your team, right? So it does a couple of things. Do they necessarily have to advance after 30 days? Not necessarily, but they're working that way, and you can help them towards that. So Caroline, have you done that? What kind of success have you seen?
Yeah, so I did that, I guess a few months ago, you and I talked and you gave me that kind of idea of creating an application. And so I did that. I had like 7 or 8 coaches fill it out and say they wanted to be diamond. So what I started doing is my husband and I actually once a month, so we call it the Future Diamonds group. We have a thread on like Facebook Messenger online or whatever. And so I'm talking to them all the time. I'm sending them like things that I wouldn't necessarily send everybody. So maybe a really great podcast I heard, or a really great call that I got to listen to. I've even sent them the recording of like I think 1 week of this call from Hitting Success Club ideas or something. So just things that are going to help them like really start to expand and grow. And then once a month, my husband and I are getting on the phone with them one-on-one. And actually the first week we got on the phone with them and their husband, just because it kind of helped their husbands get on board with like helping them get to diamonds. And it's really good because my husband's like, he's in sales, so he can give tips that maybe I'm not thinking about. And then also he's seen me build my business over the past 4 years. And so sometimes I forget about things that I did in the beginning, you know? And so it was just so good. Like my coaches just said it was extremely helpful just to have someone else on the call that's kind of like, you know, a fresh perspective. And then also for their spouse to just be able to talk to him and say, you know, how can I support her in the business? So I have seen all of my coaches who we've done those calls with so far, like text me the next day and we're like, that's the best thing that like I've gotten in a lot. Like they just love it. So it's like an hour of set aside time with just them. We literally dive into their downlines and everything.
Oh no.
I call it the Future Diamonds. So we have a team mastermind.
Caroline, you're kind of breaking up.
Once a week as well.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Sorry guys, I don't know. It's probably my bad internet.
Okay, well you're back now. So where did we leave off? Oh, go ahead.
I'm not really sure where it left off. What was the last thing you heard?
Anybody?
Your coaches just said that like it's really valuable. They liked it.
Yeah. They just said it was really valuable and it really helped. I just think like, especially for those who are married, like having your spouse on board can make a huge difference in you hitting diamonds. So it was really good because my husband, he's created like this tracker for me for like my business and tracking like my income and stuff. And so he shared that with them and he just kind of shared how that's an area that they can support their spouse. So just some different things like that. And then also we're doing a Future Diamonds mastermind call once a week during lunchtime. And that way that they can all mastermind together on like growing their businesses. So just that's just 2 examples, but that mentorship call where it's one-on-one and we dive into their downline and everything they're doing in their business has really helped.
That's amazing. So thank you for that. It's so nice to put those people in a group together, because if you have them all like in your team page, then one person that's not hitting Success Club and not doing the work is going to drag everybody else down. They're going to make it seem like it's not as important as it really does need to be. So that's amazing. Thank you. Anybody else have any ideas on building diamonds? What have you done to see growth in that? I know something that some of my elite pushers are doing is talking about the first 5-star bonus that they're going to get and how they're going to share it with the team, because it is a team goal, but that they are offering more to the 5 stars, to the 5 diamonds that they have, instead of the whole team. Like maybe they'll get a team shirt for the whole team, but the 5 stars, have maybe a retreat that's just the 6 of them or something like that. So then it really does make it feel like a team goal instead of just like a me thing, right? But also it gives them that incentive to hold it, right? Because they know if you don't get the bonus, the fun stuff doesn't happen, right? So that's another thing. Any other thoughts, questions, input?
Just something. I could just add one thing, because with qualifying, like qualifying can get really really stressful. So something that I learned after I started my initial qualification was that like, even though like my diamonds downline was like, maybe emerald or whatever, like they had no idea that them staying emerald and them consistently like recruiting and holding emerald had an effect, because they got to emerald and they were all excited on the diamond and then our team qualification. So if you guys have threads with your teams, like just like be clear, like let them know, like in order for us to hit our team goal, like we have to hold this for 6 weeks. Everybody has to stay active. Like we want to keep working as a team to keep moving forward. So just because they hit their goals doesn't mean that we hit our team goals yet. So that's something that I learned through qualifications, because it can get stressful if not everybody's aware of what's going on, and it still gets stressful no matter what. But
Great point, because you can totally overlap, right? Definitely have those qualifications that overlap. So that's a really good point. And like communication with those guys all the time. That's perfect. Thank you for that. Lauren, were you going to add something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that last week when you guys mentioned the retreat thing, that I loved that idea, and actually have like started planting seeds. So I did a poll on my team page on like what they would be most like what would be better incentive for them, and so we're in the process of starting to plan like that goal of the retreat for the 5 stars. So I'm really excited about that, and I loved that you guys shared that last week. So thank you.
Awesome. Okay, anything else, you guys? If there's more people next week, we'll kind of revisit this topic, because I know like there's always a different group of people that come in and we talk about those things. So anything else to add?
I have something. Can you
Go for it, Kelly. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh wait, can you help me see me? Sorry.
Yeah. Are you ready now?
I'm down the other one. I'm being a mom of the year right now. I think something that really helped me was I stopped putting all of my eggs in one basket. I know it sounds really stupid, but I was hoping that like 5 of my people would just like take off, and they weren't. So now I'm like, okay, who wants in? And like one of our top coaches did a thing on like the energy bus. And I know it's stuff that everybody does. And I know it seems like super like simple, but like it really helped me with perspective. Like, okay, who's next, right? Like who else wants it? So it's not really much to add, more just got to find the people who are like us, right? Which is so much easier said than done. But that's all I got. Not really great things to add, but I listened while I multitasked like a pro.
I love it. Thank you so much, Kelly. And don't downplay what you're adding to value. So thank you.
We're all so passionate. We're all like on fire, and it's like, how can we spread the fire in like a good way? You know what I mean? It's the fire.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm on fire right now. I'm like ready to go. Let's do this.
I love it.
I have one thing to kind of add to, and this is kind of goes with what Leah said, and then also what Kelly said was about like making it all like a team goal, and it's not about like our goals, but the team as a whole. Is I just got back I went to High Performance Academy with Brennan Burchard this weekend. Everybody needs to go. Like, please put it on your vision board and go. It was amazing. Like, I cried all weekend in like a really productive way. But I learned so much, like, oh my gosh. And I've already started like pass things on to my team and stuff. But one big thing was he talked a lot. Like, one big takeaway I had from it was I really got more in tune with like my passion and my purpose that goes in tune with this business, right? Like, my purpose or my passion, which is why I work this business, to help fuel that purpose and stuff. But to really share that openly with my team and help them figure out what their passion is, and make this passion and this purpose and our like goal to help people one big team goal, and not acting, but like sharing that we're doing this together, that we're going, yes, towards these rank goals together, and yes, towards these big team goals together, but also those big like passion and purpose to help people kind of go, like almost like an army going out to like help people, and then get more people on our team to help more people, and kind of just like build our army to fuel this like purpose of why we're here and what we do. And we have this amazing opportunity to, you know, that goes so perfectly with that, you know? So just really openly sharing that with my team, so that that's a big fear I had, was every time I would share about like the team goals, I felt almost like they'd think I was like selfish, you know, like I was like doing it for me, or like I'm just saying I want you guys to hit these goals so that I hit these goals, which isn't what it is, but I would fear that they would feel that. So really just very authentically and genuinely sharing with them the kind of goals I want us all to work on together, because he said something which I'm sure everybody's heard it, but I just love it, and I've been like repeating it every day, is like, the dream don't work if the team doesn't work. So that was just my little thing.
Love it. Thank you so much, Larissa. And actually on the call right before this, the mastermind, Caitlin Molstead, so her last name starts with an M. She went to High Performance, and I was like, okay, now the call is yours. Just tell us everything that you learned. It was pretty incredible.
This coach?
What?
Is it one of Anita's coaches?
No, Grassco. No, that's
there's a girl,
Brittany's coach.
huh?
That's Brittany's coach. Brittany's left.
There was a girl, Caitlin, who was there, who was on Anita's team and stuff, and we met there.
Maybe is she like really, really thin, and she has kind of reddish hair? Yep, that's her.
Smile. Yeah,
Yes.
we were there together. It was amazing. Seriously, everybody needs to go. It was just like, and I brought one of my coaches who's like pretty close to diamond, and she is more fired up than like ever. It's amazing.
That's awesome. So yeah, she totally took over the call, and I was like, and say that again, and say that again. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So yes, I'm so glad you went, and thank you for sharing that with us. But it's so true. The dream doesn't work if the team doesn't work. So perfect. Okay, guys, is there anything else before I stop recording? No.